Hello and welcome to the channel, and today we are here for a tutorial. I bought the hand of Archon and now I'm going to show you how to magnetize. This is a relative small model, so I think it's good to see how to magnetize, and I want to show you that it's not that hard. I think a Chaos Knight or a Imperial Knight like this you can easily magnetize. However, the magnets are huge, the holes are almost pre-embedded, otherwise it's pretty easy to drill. So I think everyone can do that, but you don't have to fear about the small and filigree models. So that's what I'm going to show you now. So I'm going to build them together and spare the ones I have to magnetize, and that's where we are going to right now. So right here, first of all, the question, why magnetize at all? These are Death Corps of Kree customized prints of Bullgryns and Ogrins, and as you see here, we have small magnets with a huge impact. I can easily magnetize the melee weapons, the shield. I can also magnetize the shooting weapons, which basically allows me to switch weapons in between, and usually one box would cost of 3, I think 40 bucks. They have different loadouts, they have different melee weapons, they have different shooting weapons, and if you want to have all the options available, you would have the need to buy several cases or several boxes of those. So right here I can just switch between melee and shooting weapons without any issues, because they're all pulled similar, and there's it actually gives a lot to your army. You spare a lot of money, and it's actually pretty easy. It's a bit of work, but otherwise you have to build more models, you have to buy more models, and you have to paint more models. Said that, you spare a lot of money, a lot of time, and this is why I think magnetizing is a great thing. It also levels up your army in case you want to sell it, and you always can react to rules changes. First of all, we have the magnet shop, where I'm going to show you right now. So the thing I can highly recommend is to buy neodymium magnets. It is really essential that you don't buy any cheap magnets. So the good ones I can recommend for general use, like dioramas and modeling, is neodymium magnets, and you can get them at GW resellers or hobby shops, which are kind of expensive, but you can also get them on directly like 100 bucks, 8 bucks for 100 pieces, and so on. Just be sure that it's neodymium magnets, because those are possibly the best. And as you see here, we have two numbers, and we are talking about diameter. I'm going to go into the shop right now. Let's take a look. So we have two sizes which are really, really important, and that's diameter, and it is height. The diameter, actually the model size will dictate what kind of magnets you might need. For this tutorial I use just normal models of diameter of 2 millimeters and 1 to 2 millimeters height. I rarely go over 2 millimeters high, but if you have really big models and really heavy stuff, the bigger the magnet, the higher the magnet, and the bigger in diameter, of course, they tend to hold a lot more. Any other than that, I can just recommend it. The coin right here is just for size reference. All right, that's about magnets. So now let's take a look. I keep my magnets in I think it's a box for glasses actually. I keep them in here. As you see, I have several kind of magnets. They usually come in small plastic bags, which is useful. Why that is useful, I'm going to show you later. I like to keep them in the small box or some similar box, so they won't interfere with my other hobby tools, right? Because it's magnetic stuff. And so I'm not losing them, and they stick to the box. Drukhari 2 mils should be totally fine. In case you're new, this is usually a German channel, but I tend to do my upcoming tutorials in both languages, so I hope I'm pronouncing everything correctly. If not, forgive me. It's almost my third language, after German and Spanish. So here we are. They usually come in small bags like this, and let's work with this. Now let's start. The tools of trade you need are pretty classic actually. It's just all kind of model tools you actually have on your own, like the hobby knife or modeling knife, just to clean up the models, to crack out the plastic and such things. Plastic is a good point. Plastic glue, however, like this one, is not working for magnets. Magnets need super glue. And yeah, super glue is, generally speaking, you can take any super glue you might find. There is some kind, in German we call it activator spray, which gives a chemical reaction to super glue, and it makes it like hard in a second or so. Baking powder has the same effect, but baking powder will create a mess. It's basically a chemical reaction. It forces, it's not poison, or it will not damage your models. However, if you spray on your models, you can clean your models with water after, or with a small tuft before. It will leave some white sprinkles here and there on the models, but you can easily clean that off. It's like, it's not damaging your models at all. And it makes the process so much easier. Okay, here's my Drukhari crew. I actually built them. The ones with fixed loadouts and the ones with loose loadouts are left open. Now we come here to the, let's say, hand drill, which is the most useful tool. It comes with a lot of attachments on different bits and different sizes. So we need maybe 1mm and 2mm, because we start with small holes and get bigger. However, you can take a cordless screwdriver as well, like a motorized one. But I have to say they come with bits and attachments as well, so you can go for 2mm. I think it's the smallest available for the cordless screwdrivers. But it's pretty useful. But however, you have to be very, very careful with small models. So I have this one from Bosch, but anything would work really. Yeah, on big models it's no problem at all. The thing is, with a hand drill, you have a lot more feeling to it, so you can really tell when to pressure and when not. With a big one, you might over-exaggerate and damage your model, especially like on filigree and small models like this one, on Drukhari. It's you need a bit of experience to work with that, but I can highly recommend it. Anyhow, the hand drill is an easy tool which allows you to turn the axis while pushing on the same time, and you can actually change the bits and attachments to your needs. Yeah, that's what we are starting with. These are our tools of trade. You can add, or should add, I can recommend like a toothpick. Made out of wood, because we are working with metal. It's kind of useful to have some wooden tools and to, don't activate the magnets. And green stuff in case you're working with bigger models and you need to repair a drill over, or just, if you put a hole in the model and the interior is basically hollow, you need to level out something to put the magnet on it, like on Imperial Knights it's mostly used. And green stuff is a 2-compound mass which hardens out once you mix it together, like you roll it together in your hand. You can model it, and then it will take 12 to 20 hours to dry, and then it's basically hard as plastic. Yeah, so Drukhari, and let's get to work, I think. Pretty easy, we go step by step, and I'm going to make it really understandable for you. First of all, we start with the boss, and as we see, we have several options here, like I think 3 different melee weapons and 2 different pistols. So I'm getting my bits out here. Prepare the hand drill with the 1mm up. So if you're a good handyman, you should know how to drill, and it's actually the same like in big drill holes, or if you drill through a wall. You start small with a small hole and go bigger once you establish the small hole already. So I start with 1mm here. I hope you can see it, it's not out of focus. And I push a bit into it. It's just about to get the hole established, and it's always easier to follow up with a big one later, but it's better or best to start with the small. It might make a little bit more work, so I could go 2mm instantly here, but I might damage the model. And now you see I have a really fine hole there. It's too small for a magnet, however, and for a general purpose, if you model more and more models, if you're going to magnetize more and more models, I can highly recommend you to drill all the small holes in all bits and all models you want to put magnets in. Then you change your attachment or bit in front of on top of the hand drill, and then you go the big holes. For the purpose of the video, I'm going vice versa here, just to show it to you. But if you're going to batch process or batch magnetize an army of yours or a squad, I can highly recommend you to start with small holes, and then once you have done all of them, you can continue with the big holes. Anyhow, that's about it. I think we do one more here. So you go exactly to the middle. Because keep in mind, we want to go bigger after. So 2mm on Space Marines is no issue at all, but 2mm, the magnet is almost the full size of the arm. If you see it, it's like a really small area of margin of error, I say. And as you see, always check how deep you have to drill. Okay, you don't want the magnet to look out after or whatever. So check with the magnet how deep you gotta go. Now I take my screwdriver with the attachment. If you don't have one, just change the attachment of your hand drill and go on 2mm. And now you carefully enlarge the small hole you already prepared. Since you've prepared it already, you are pretty sure to not make damage on the model. In case you drew or drilled too much and you drill some of the edges off, don't worry about it. The magnets will cover on some point. As long as they fit in and don't look over, it's fine. And once you put paint on it, you might not even see it. If it's really heavy, like if you really damaged your arm, you can also use a bit of green stuff to cover up the magnet. But either or, once paint on it, you're not gonna notice. Right here, as you see, I made a pretty good hole right in the middle. I have not over drilled the edges, so it's perfectly fine. Now I'm taking the plastic bag, and what I'm going to do now is, or plastic foil, I'm putting the line of magnets in there, and just the magnets I want to put in the model or in the weapon, I'm going to put outside of the plastic bag. Reason I'm doing this is, if you don't do that, your magnets stick together even harder. And if you use super glue, you're also going to glue your other magnets, and you don't want that. With the plastic bag, you can always deattach and attach the magnets easily. The magnet line will not get glued together, and that's the preparation we're going to do. Okay, now the weapons are prepared. Now we're going to do the same with the main model. So I'm putting right into the center of the line. I'm putting pressure on with my hand, and with my fingers I'm gonna move the hand drill and slightly pressure and keep the model stable. And that easy, you're going to do a 1mm hole. And again, like on the weapons, I'm going to take my cordless screwdriver. Again, if you don't have one, just change the attachment or bit. And then you go on step 2 and make the hole a bit bigger. If you have a Space Marine, you might get on 2 and 3mm. Here it's 1 and 2mm. If you have an Imperial Knight, you might gonna go 3 and 4mm. So 3 the first one, 4 the next one. As you see now, only one magnet outside of the plastic. I'm gonna go and stick it in the hole before and push it with my finger. If you have fingernails, it's even easier. So you can put that your fingernails between the magnet and the plastic and the other magnets, and then you can easily point pressure with your finger on the magnet inside of the model or the weapon and pull the magnets apart. Good thing, or I'm going to show it to you right now. I have a magnet in here right now. I use a wood pick or toothpick in order to push it in. Activator spray to making it harden faster. It sounds wrong on so many levels. And then you can apply pressure with a wooden tool, whatever, in order to push the magnet further in. But because you drill a 2mm hole and you have a 2mm magnet in diameter, so it's really hard sometimes to put them in, and you need some extra force, and you're going to apply that with a wooden tool. Any wooden tool works here, or plastic, everything what's not magnet. Okay, so again, I'm going to show it again step by step just to make it clear for you. Center on the model, apply pressure. Once you have found your spot, drill into it. Keep your model tight and only don't apply too much force. It's just turning it around and putting a bit of pressure. It will go in on its own. Not too much force, just easy. Then again, you have your hole prepared perfectly in the middle. You change your attachment or you change to your driver how I do it. As you see, you can also change just your handrail attachment. And this is the reason why you should batch it, you know, to not always have to switch around. Here it doesn't matter because I have two different tools. So easy as that. Sometimes when you drill a hole, you might get a lot of plastic out of it, sometimes not, and then you clean it up. That's really, really important to not make a mess. If you see anything white here, it's like a restraint from the activator spray. It doesn't really matter since you can wash it off with water. If you keep it too long, you need a bit of isopropanol to remove it, but it's not doing any damage to your model. Now we want to check if the magnet is fixed already, and yeah. You want to do that check because you need to check your poling on the magnets, means positive and negative side, if you want to call it like that, have to be appropriate. So you want to have the correct side. So they are pushing, as you see, and now they are connecting. Which side goes in is really important. The one in the bodies have to be the same pole all the time, and the ones in the weapons have to be the same as in the other weapons, but they have to be different than the ones in the body, if that makes sense. Okay, now you see it sticks. So I want the same side to go into that. Now we have the hole prepared. Put a bit of super glue into it. I make it like this because the tip of my super glue was a bit dirty, so I just took it off. Now there's super glue in it, and I go again, just one magnet outside of the plastic. I'm gonna take my finger and push it in. Now I think I turned around. There's a bit of danger to turn around the magnets if you're not careful with your finger, like I wasn't. So the good thing here is with the plastic back between that, you can always pull your magnet back until you're sure you haven't turned the magnets around. And since it's plastic in between, the super glue won't attach the magnets to each other. Otherwise, you have a line of magnets. You cannot like really get them. Yeah, now I have it. Again, apply pressure with a wooden tool. I use toothpick here to put it in. You really don't want to see the magnets outside of the model because you will generate holes. It's not looking natural, right? So you're gonna have to do that, and you can put a bit of super glue on top of it, activator spray again, and now we wait a little bit, and it should be pretty fast, like a couple of seconds with the activator. If you don't use activator, I can recommend you to actually wait a minute or two before you try to attach something to it, and always make the test with your hobby knife before you attach new magnets. The danger of, like, a hobby knife will just react with the magnet. Other magnets might pull more force to it than the hobby knife, and you're actually gonna put your magnets out of the model if it's not 100% glued yet. So always make the glue check with your hobby knife, and if that's safe and the magnet doesn't move anymore, like I'm waiting right now and now I'm going to try it. If the magnets are not pulling anymore, or if you don't see any reaction on the magnet coming out of the model, then it's totally fine to proceed with it. So now we have ideally have the same poled sides on both sides. As you see, it attaches to my knife. Here the poles doesn't really matter. The poles really matter on the weapons. So you have to be really, really careful. And I can also recommend you to use the same poling, like always the same magnet sides on all the bodies and always the same magnet sides on all the weapons. But the weapons, as you see now, we make a test. We put one magnet out of the plastic, go a bit closer, and it attaches. Okay. Now I cannot directly put that into the weapon like this because the thing here needs to be outside, right? If I put it in like this, it will not attach to it because the wrong pole will be on the wrong side of the magnet. So I'm going to switch it around. It actually should not connect now, and the not connecting side goes into the weapon, so the connecting side is looking out of the weapon, if that makes sense. I hope I'm explaining it correctly. As I said, English is my second language. So you put a bit of super glue, and that was a bit too much. Same procedure as in the normal models. Put your finger in between the plastic. Again, if you have nails, it's a lot easier. Put it in, push with your finger. And the good thing with small magnets is once you have like 3 to 4 millimeters in between the other magnets and the magnets you just put in the model, it will not pull each other anymore. Here I could have drilled a little bit deeper into the model, but like if it's like such a small tiny margin, you can always apply pressure and force in this case to put the magnet completely in. As you see, a wooden tool is really helpful in this case. You don't really want to have the magnets looking out of the weapons or the models you are actually working with. Super glue again, activator spray again, here we go. And now we wait a couple of seconds. And check. As you see, it perfectly fits. Yeah, and in case if you're seeing a little bit of the magnet, you can actually be pretty sure that it's gone when you're going to put paint on it. As you see, I can even lift the model by the magnetized item. Of course, it's going to turn around in the axis itself, but it's neat and it's close, and you don't see the magnets. That's how it should look. In case you're like a very small margin out of your model, don't worry. And sometimes, yeah, actually you should avoid it, but don't worry. If you're gonna put paint over it, eventually a lot of stuff is hidden below that. Yeah, that was basically one weapon. I put it really step by step here. The really benefit of this, I think you're going to see it, you don't have to buy the model several times for each loadout, especially because some models have so much loadouts, like the bullguns and augments I showed you before. It's crazy. So you really spare a lot of money. It's still faster. It's a lot of work, but it's still faster to build a full model again, to paint it, to prime it, to paint it, to vanish it, and all the stuff. So it's really sustainable to magnetize, and eventually you spare a lot of money on it. And if you take the right magnet, magnet is gonna hold lifelong really. And as you see, I can really put it around and nothing happened. Also, your models don't break, right? If you transport them and they're magnetized, they're just gonna fall off instead of breaking, generally speaking. And this trick with the plastic bag I showed you, it's really essential for me. When I started out in magnetizing, I did it without it, and the magnets always glued together after a couple of attempts. And like this, you can pull the magnets out again. You don't really get super glue on the magnets you haven't used yet. And the plastic bag or plastic foil, whatever you want to call it, kind of call it plastic sheets, really changed the game I magnetized. It really helps. The super glue in combination with the activator spray is really helpful. And yeah, that's about it. As I said, I went really step by step. You can also base the or magnetize the bases, and in order for easier transportation on whatever. And yeah, you just be sure that you have all the same magnet polling on all the models, and make sure that the weapons really stick. And remember, you have to switch the direction of the magnets in between model and weapon. Otherwise, they are not going to stick. Yeah, the hand drill is useful, and for small models like this, I can highly recommend to start with those. If you use an electric screwdriver with that attachment, you might not have so much feeling in your hand to actually emphasize how much pressure the model can take. As I started out, actually kind of destroyed 1 or 2 models. So I've put a link in the description. In case you're from Europe, you can buy the Green Stuff World tools there, and with the with my code you get a couple of discount there. It's shipping to Europe completely, but I'm not sure how the price of shipping will be to UK or wherever. And yeah, as you see again, it really doesn't damage the figure. Of course, the axis is moving. I can attach all parts, all the weapons, and as you play, it's really stable, right? And your model won't break once you push the model with your weapon in front of a wall or something. It will just go off instead of breaking. So that's another benefit of it. Right here, the white stuff you see on the model is actually stuff from its rest from the activator spray, but you can wash it off with water. If you wait 2 or 3 days, you will possibly need isopropanol, but it will not leave any rest on your model, so don't worry about that. Yeah, as you see, I've got my full team completed. Everything magnetized. The gunner, the heavy gunner. In case you're using two-handed weapons, I can highly recommend to magnetize both the arms and glue the weapon together once it's on the body. Yeah. So the magnets will help you to keep it stable. Then you glue the part of the weapon and the arm together, and then you can pull it off and have the full weapon with both arms, like here in your hand. That's the way I did it. And as you see, arm is single attached. You can also glue the arm now on the weapon, but you don't have to. On some weapons you obviously have, because the model doesn't allow you otherwise. Here I could separate, so I could use some normal guns on it, and yeah, that's it for my tutorial. I actually didn't want to make it super short. I know I could have explained that maybe in 10 minutes or 5, but I wanted really to go step by step, because sometimes when I watch tutorials, it's more like sometimes you are missing out on something, or yeah, this should be a step-by-step tutorial, even with going some steps twice, just to make sure it's really easy and understandable. I hope, I hope that was useful for you. Hope to see you next time here. Check out my English playlist from time to time. I have videos in English. Anyway, have a good day and see you soon, hopefully. Bye-bye.